An ancient terror sleeps in the Vargas house. Can anyone survive its awakening? The evil.
We're not going to get out!
They can scream. They can run. But they can't escape. Richard Crenna, Joanna Pettit, Victor Buono. The evil. Rated R.
On this island, in this building, through this door, lies the most frightening experience of your life. Prepare yourself for They Came From Within. They Came From Within. If this picture doesn't make you scream and squirm, you'd better see a psychiatrist. Quick, rated R, if you think you're not afraid of the dark. If you think you have a strong stomach. If you feel nothing can shock you. If you believe you've seen everything. If you say you don't scare easily. Then the picture for you is They Came From Within. Rated R.
Let's scare Jessica to death. The screen has captured cold, deadly horror before, but this time it's all turned loose in your direction.
Leave me! Will you be quiet? I'll hear you!
Let's scare Jessica to death.
No!
From Paramount Pictures, rated GP.
Beyond the door, the seeds of Satan have been planted.
No doctor can possibly explain her pregnancy.
Now the struggle must begin. For the demons of darkness have come to claim one of their own.
Help me.
Enter if you dare. Beyond the door. Rated R.
Sometimes I can read people's minds.
The Night Child. One day, an innocent little girl. One night, something else. Beyond the darkness. Beyond the devil. The Night Child. Rated R.
This was Abby. Until something evil came looking for a soul to possess.
Hear me, demon. Leave this woman's body.
And there we go. And that was Abby. I had not ever heard of that film before. But that was
yeah.
Quick,
I think it's one of Steve's favorites from Dead Pit.
Yeah. So, of course, Let's Scare Jessica to Death and stuff like that. People talk about that one over and over and over again. I heard that's a good twist at the end of that. What's going on? I'm the Slasher Dude. Chrissy, the Slasher Dude. My cohort Slasher buddy over there is Darren. How you doing there, Darren?
Not too bad, man. I had a stream. Obviously, Chris knows I had a stream planned with Keith, and he's just not showed. So,
yeah,
hopefully he's well. Hopefully he's not unwell.
Hopefully he's okay. We both DM'd him. I'm sure he's all good. He probably just overslept, like I love to do and stuff like that. He was a busy man yesterday, and he's making the rounds today. So but he wants to get that stream up, and I have a future slash along later on tonight. We're watching Friday the 13th Part 3, aka 3D and stuff like that. So me and Darren were talking. We're doing off the cuff, real quick there. Hope everyone's having a great day or evening or early morning where all you awesome people are at. So how's it going there, Darren?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. It's pretty hot here now in the UK. It's starting to heat up a little bit now.
Yeah.
As we get into June. But we got the same seasons as you. So exactly the same as America, which is unbelievable, really, considering the distance. But no, not much, man. I'm always up for off the cuff, or we can, discuss future plans on streams and films and all that,
Absolutely. Future slasher stream, talking to Darren about that. So that should be sometime next week and stuff like that. I'll make the date and the time where we're both available and stuff like that. And we kind of change the format a little bit. We're working as we go, make the streams better, more entertaining for you all. I really appreciate the love and support for the slasher stream we did on the Psycho franchise. I'm very proud of that. Very, very proud.
That was an enjoyable one. Yeah, for sure.
That was a big project, and I appreciate everybody who's viewed that and stuff like that too. it was a fun time and it was a big passion project for me, and it gave me a chance to watch the other two films in that franchise, and I'm very happy that it's finally getting some love that it deserves. Next slasher stream will be on these two gems of films, one of them being a video nasty, so me and Darren are going to be talking about Madhouse. This is an Italian horror film. It is a video nasty. I remember Tony from the UK, Masters of the 80s, did a video nasty stream where he mentioned this film and stuff like that for certain stuff that's in there. Of course, so we have one Arrow release. I actually have the wrong one here because we'll be doing 2 Arrow and 2 Scream Factory.
So basically, we're going to be doing like 2 at a time instead of 4 because it's going to make it a little bit easier to do all the research and all that,
exactly.
Right? Like 4 is quite a lot, to prepare for.
Exactly.
But we'll just do it over like 1 week we'll do 2, and then the next week we'll do the other 2, and we'll do it like that.
Right, exactly. And then the second one we'll be doing on that stream is Death Screams, which you could probably still get it with the slip, but this is a backwoods slasher, I believe, from that's Susan Kiger in here. Also has a porn star in here. Susan Kiger. Also David Nelson. Yeah, David Nelson from The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet. So, you have these, these slashers that came out during this time. They have these people from, I know The Forest has TV actors in it too, I believe. I know Dirk did that with part of when Dead Pits ones and stuff like that with Wes, I believe, talking about that film. And,
they did like a good half hour, like 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Discussing everything to do with that.
Talk about that. So, expect that next slasher stream where we'll be reviewing and discussing these 2 bad boys. I can't wait to check these out. I have to work myself up to certain films, specifically stuff that are like what have you and stuff like that. And
I keep forgetting you've not seen them to either of you. So, it'd be interesting to see what you think.
Yeah.
They're
What's
both
up, Jason?
Entertaining. Hey, hi, Jason.
It's good to see you in here. Thanks. Like I say, off the cuff, real quick. So it'd be like, Creepy Onion. What's going on, my friend? Rather like Death Screams.
Hey,
Definitely it. I'm the slasher dude. So kind of like what Dirk is kind of doing with his Giallos. I'm trying to get as many slashers as I can. And I try not to get too desensitized by them all, So it's almost like man versus food, man. You have to eat the good food before you eat the bad food, and you have to work your way up to it. So, it's like me and Category.
Right.
They may have seen out when it was called the Pepper Saw. Oh,
I'm very well aware of The Night Child, what the people saw. I've never seen it, and it's always been like high on my list of ones.
The Night Child, that's a quick video I saw on YouTube and stuff like that. That was done way back in the day, and it's just kind of major, kind of like three ones there. I know the first one, that Shivers, they just renamed it. You can tell by the way that looks and stuff like that, the whole parasitic thing. So called what Pepper Saw. Like
I think is that Dallamano, The Night Child.
I think
Dallamano.
So.
Yeah,
might be.
So if that's the case, then I'll definitely be watching that in the next couple of weeks.
Quick shameless plug. Slasher Dude's back next month, and y'all going to do a big screen. I'm going to show you what's in the bag. I've said this before. What's in the bag represents all the awesome people in this horror community. Stuff like that, the horror horsemen, all of you here that I see, you're all part of this and stuff like that. This is all yours. What's in the bag? I'm done being nice. I have a shirt ordered.
Keith has just messaged. Keith has just messaged.
Okay.
Have he messaged you?
No, I haven't seen it just yet. No.
I haven't seen what he said yet. I'll just look now.
I can send him the link and then he can join us and then we can talk about this one.
Ask him if he wants to do if he wants to do Tenebrae, the 3 of us, if that's okay. And then we can do it before. We can do it before, obviously, you got that Friday
of course.
the 13th.
Of course. Stuff like that, too. So.
Yeah, he said he's just woke up. As long as he's okay with that, mine. I don't want to, tread on anyone's toes or anything.
Sorry about typing here. We're going to chat real quick and stuff like that. So if you can hear it from my gaming slasher board, as I call it, and stuff like that too. But I'll show real quick what I just got in. So my Scream Factory or Shout Factory 4K sales stuff came in. So that counts. Also show, I did a picture of it and put it up on Instagram. But what I got in, so 2 things in the mail. So few films. Got this off of Amazon. It finally went down in price a little bit. Over the Edge.
Okay.
Watch out for the children. Over the Edge. Yeah. Kind of like a period piece, kind of like the class of 1984, a little bit, for what I've heard and stuff like that. I know Texas Hardcore did a watch along for this film and stuff like that. So it got down enough to where I'm like, yeah, because I'm not going to buy this for $29. So
right, yeah.
Nope, Creepy Onion, I will not do that. Nope, no, not at all. Even though one of these had a loose disc in it, that's okay. I had to open that, and there's no off gassing, so from Pop said Pop's Movie Dungeon mentioned this when he watched it and stuff like that too. So he said this would probably be a good recommendation for me. That's the Furies. It's a Shudder original. So RL.
Yes, I'm aware of that. It's a slasher as well.
Yeah.
He
said it's quite good. Looks like Not Ready or Not. What's that one where it has like a picture of like doing like a pig mask on there and stuff like that too? I forgot who did that film, but
Not Your Next.
Better Watch Out or something like that, I think, or something. But these
could
two
Your
guys
Next.
here.
Yeah, Your Next.
Yeah, Your Next. Yeah. So
Furies is supposed to be good. I have heard a little.
Stay Alive or Die Trying and stuff like that too. So Shudder has some good. RLJE has not disappointed me. RLJE have not disappointed me. For what they brought out. So that's very cool. And then I got in just recently, the mailman delivered them from the Shout / Scream Factory 4K sale. $20 all of these. Good sale. If you don't have them, pick them up. All these I don't have and I wanted to get. So Tales from the Dark Side.
Okay. That's the film, yeah?
Yeah, the anthology, Christian Slater's in here. So.
Wasn't that going to be the original Creepshow 3, I think, at one point?
I think it was, yes. Almost like a better... But, so it's like, and all good, Keith, don't trip about it. If you find the stream and stuff like that, I'll send the link and you can join us. This one, of course, The Dead Zone. So I never owned this one before.
Yeah.
I never owned this one before, so...
that is highly underrated, I think.
It's David Cronenberg. He's one of my favorite directors. I love David Cronenberg. I mean, A History of Violence and stuff like that, too.
Yeah, I'm not massive on Cronenberg, but that and the Fly remake, I think is superb.
So with both the 4K and the Blu-ray, same transfer. It doesn't say it's a 4K transfer. It just says 2023 transfer from the original camera negative with Dolby Vision. So they don't say what kind of transfer it is and stuff like that too, but it should be fine. It's probably the same as the Screen Factory Blu-ray type of a transfer and stuff like that. And they usually do pretty good with that, but it's cool to have this film, and stuff like that. It's an underrated film. Really. It's probably next to the Deer Hunter, probably Christopher Walken's best role. Blade.
I'll tell you what I like about The Dead Zone is there's 20 minutes in that film where they got like almost like a slasher killer on the loose. It's only for like a little bit. It's not
based
for long.
Off of Stephen King's books and stuff like that. That's what I always like about Stephen King type films is there's more stuff going on. Right? Yeah. There is a serial killer going on in here. There's that scene with the scissors. Everyone knows about that. Yeah. Right. It's Cronenberg-esque. It puts that touch in there and stuff like that too.
It's him at his best, I think.
And then this one gets like mixed reviews, I guess. A lot of people say it's one of the greatest horror remakes of all time, but that's The Blob from the 1980s.
I've never seen that one.
Yeah,
I've not seen the remake.
Directed by Chuck Russell. So the original Blob, of course, Criterion has Steve McQueen in it, but I wanted to pick this one up and stuff like that. Unfortunately, no reversible artwork for the sleeves. That's always kind of disappointing. But they want you to pay a little bit extra if you want to get extra kind of slips for that. That's too bad they didn't do at least an extra slip for the Dead Zone. I did like that original one and stuff like that, but this is a neat one for Tales from the Dark Side. That's neat. I think this one has the one with the gargoyle in it. I think. I may be wrong. But
oh god, it's been very
yeah.
long time since I've seen that one.
Yeah, directed by John Harrison. So interesting about the Dead Zone. It has audio commentary with Mike Flanagan. So
okay.
I know, yeah, people like Mike Flanagan. I like him too. He's interesting. So I just
that's the guy who did Hush as well, yeah.
Yes, it is. He did Hush. He did The Haunting of Hill House as well.
That's right. I did see a little bit of that. That's pretty good.
He did Midnight Mass, which is very Stephen.
Yeah.
It's very Stephen King-esque. So yeah, he's kind of the second coming, kind of, you can say, of like he's a good director. I like him. Of course, he did and all this other stuff too. And
Gore's just messaged now as well.
Yeah, I see.
I just messaged Gore if he wants to still do it, like with and Chris as well. Then we can all
I sent the link there in the info there for the former title holder of Horror YouTuber of the Month, and you can join us. And yeah, when he does, we'll talk about this great film right here, and that's Dario Argento's Tenebrae. Give us a little synopsis of this film, real quick, there, Darren, since I know you love this film.
I mean, this is high fucking end, like Argento for me. So you've got this basically. I don't know. Do you want to wait till Keith?
You could just do a quick synopsis on it, and we'll talk about what we love about the film. Yeah.
Right. So you've got like this like writer. He writes horror like novels.
Yes.
Mr. Neil.
Right.
So basically, on release, like he goes over to Italy to do like a book promotion tour of his new book Tenebrae.
Yeah.
And all the while, all the kills that are happening, around,
they stuff
kind of linked to
book.
kind of linked to the book. I mean, it's close to a masterpiece. I mean, I don't give many films 10, and I'll go into that when we talk properly about it, but it's not far off. It's like a 9.5. Everything in it, I can't actually say anything's bad in it at all. I think. Well, yeah, we'll come into that because I don't.
Yeah, we'll come into that
early.
You had the Arrow release, right? Of
oh god, I've got 2 DVDs. I've got friggin' Steelbook Arrow.
That's nice. I've
got the window edition Arrow.
Oh, that's very good. Oh, yeah.
Arrow as well.
Oh, that's a nice one. That's a nice addition there. Yeah, kind of like that's what I like about. Of course, I have the Synapse one. Synapse and Arrow, boy.
I like that cover as well.
Yeah, comes with the booklet, kind of the same style. Gotta love it. Yeah,
that's pretty much like the Arrow. I think they're almost they're very similar.
They're almost identical wise.
Yeah. Yours actually does have the better.
This has the reverse. This has the reverse sleeve on it too, to where it looks like that original kind of artwork.
Right, so you've got that. Yeah. I mean that image is. I was going to say yours is better, but I do fucking love the original.
And Synapse does it too. They'll release a 4K with a sleeve, a little more affordable wise. If you want to do that, they did it with Suspiria. They did it with my all-time favorite Italian horror film. That's a nice release. Synapse and Arrow, they do a great job. I think the transfer is the same. Great transfer to this disc too. I love it a lot. Yeah, the whole writing. You think like Tenebrae and Your Vice are almost kind of similar, aren't they? For kind of films, because it involves a writer and it involves, a killer kind of going around a little bit, even though Your Vice was done before. I can almost think Dario, like I said, this, like a lot of people say, what's the last great giallo done? And this was done in what, 1980 something?
82.
82. So he did this before. Of course, he did this before opera.
So a lot of people say that
this might be it. This might be the essential 80s giallo. And I really love 80s giallo because they get sleazier and creepier the more they go into it. It's really, really good.
So I think this came out in '82 along with Fulci's New York Ripper, and I think
Yes, that's right.
That was kind of the end of Giallo, you know, pretty much.
Yeah,
But then Argento come out with Opera, and I know Tenebrae is a better film than Opera, but Opera is my favorite.
And of course, you get the stuff from the '90s, and you get stuff like Trauma. You get stuff like the Stendhal syndrome, which I don't know why people don't seem to like that. I really like Stendhal syndrome, but
people don't give that film a go. Like they watch it first time, and obviously there's a lot of it's probably Argento's nastiest film in terms of what happens to Asia Argento's character.
It's a sleazy, nasty film. I call it a hateful. I call it a hate giallo, a hateful because the killer's a hateful person.
Yeah. I do get why people are standoffish with it, but I mean, Dirk, I got Dirk to rewatch it again a couple of times, and now it's he really favors it a lot.
Yeah, so, that's Sleepless.
It's one of those films.
You're at that tail end of this, really, where it was just at the tail end, and you get Sleepless. Like I say, there's a lot. There's a lot of
Stendhal would be in my top 3 now. It's rising every time. It would probably be my top Argento 3, and that's crazy, I know, but yeah.
That's very hard. Yeah, it is very hard to pick a top whatever Dario film. It really
even his top 10,
because he can be spread out a bit. Yeah, he can be spread out quite a bit.
I mean, you've got, and that's even without considering you've got Phenomena, which is an amazing film as well.
Phenomenon is great.
Opera, I love Sleepless. Trauma, I like a lot as well.
Yeah, really.
But what me and Dirk are going to be doing on his channel Saturday, or our channel Saturday, is we're going to be covering 3 lesser known Argentos.
That's cool that you're doing Dark Glasses. I really like I like Dark Glasses. I was surprised. There's good. I have the Blu-ray for that. It's because it was brought on Shudder's platform. It's good. They talk to Dario. They talk to Asia, of course. I did not know that was her in that film. I didn't recognize her. I'm like,
no, she does look different. Yeah,
she does look different. I'm like, my goodness, she's all tattooed up. My God.
Anyway. That film I've seen once when it came out, and I really liked it. So I'm really looking forward to going back.
I do like it too. It's almost a harken back to it. It's almost like, to me, it's a swan song. It's a swan song for him. It's a good one. Yeah, so your guys are going to have fun with that one.
I want to see what Dirk makes out of Do You Like Hitchcock? Because I like that one a lot as well.
I need to watch that.
And then there's Giallo. Giallo should be funny to talk about because that film, oh man, it's bad. It's really bad, but
is that the one with Adrian Brody?
Yeah, I can watch it as a comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad. But I mean, if you actually sit back and watch it as a comedy, and
the Card Player too, right? You're all doing that one, huh?
No, we're not doing that one.
Oh, okay.
But we will be at some point. I love the Card Player. It's just the ending I don't like.
Hey, what's going on, Reed? How you doing, my man?
Cool. Hey, Reed.
Tons of people. So, I sent the link. Yeah. I sent the link down there. Keith wants to join. Yeah, you can, my brother. Please. Yeah,
unless Keith wants to still do it on his channel and we pop over to there, I don't mind
either way. Yeah. So anyway, we'll just go ahead and start. Let's see. You got the notes, Darren? Just give us the story real quick. First off, the year this came out and the cast of people we have in this awesome film.
I'd wait for Keith though, man, because I don't want to give it. See what he said. Does he message you back?
He hasn't messaged me back on DM just yet, but I did put the link down in the chat.
Right. So type in now. So I just give him a chance to
give him a chance wise. But yeah, this is really like I say, IMDb kind of says it right. Basically, good cast here. Anthony Francoscia, I believe, is in here. Giuliano Gemma's in here as the detective. He's pretty good in this as the detective here. I like the banter and the back and forth between the two characters. Of course, the late, great John Saxon is in here. Of course, who did The Girl Who Knew Too Much. Mario Bava is quintessential, you can say, giallo that kind of started this genre a little bit, a.k.a. the evil eye.
Right. He's not rewatched. I don't think Keith's rewatched this, so he said he'd rather rewatch it first.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can go ahead.
Okay, cool, excellent. of course, John Saxon, Daria Nicolodi. One of the greatest screams I've ever heard in film. My goodness. That is her doing that, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's her own voice because I love the sound of her voice.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about Daria Nicolodi with Tenebrae is, so basically, she wanted to play a different role. She was down to play a different role instead of playing Anne, and she was going to play Peter Neal's lover, Jane. And then she got really pissed off because apparently, by this point, her and Argento they weren't getting
oh god, they're arguing all the damn time. Yeah.
I think it was actually off. Their romance was actually off. So they kind of come to a decision where they would basically just professionally work together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But she was really pissed. She said it's probably one of her worst performances. And
isn't that funny how that works? Where we watch these films and you're thinking, I mean, it's like with Inferno, which Dario says was his hardest one to do, because we know the stuff that was happening behind the scenes for what the actor said and stuff like that too. So, but yeah, same thing with this one. It seems these films just seem to bring out the best in these people. So,
yeah, obviously, we can go through the film and everything as well if you want, because because I got notes for it. But in terms of the cast, I do want to say there's a few others I want to mention. You've got Laura Wendell, who plays a young girl getting attacked by the dog.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a great. God.
She was in Ghost House, Umberto Lenzi's Ghost House. She is actually in The Perfume with the Lady in Black, which we're going to cover Thursday, but she's really young. And you probably won't recognize her until cause she plays a really young girl in that. Yeah. But she's also in You'll Die at Midnight, which is another Lamberto Bava brilliant giallo. My Dear Killer as well, which plays a young girl. Yeah.
Christian, we were talking about Christian Bromeo is in here. Don't know who that is. You'd recognize the face. He's from House at the Edge of the Park. I didn't know that until I saw his picture. I'm like, oh,
blonde-haired looking dude.
Yeah, the blonde dude. Yeah,
he's also in Murder Rock.
Good-looking dude. Yeah.
If you watch Murder Rock, he plays one of the dancers. He plays he plays quite a decent role in that, because I think his girlfriend gets killed on that. Yeah. So the cast in this is amazing. I think Antonio Franciosca, who plays Peter Neal, is one of the best kind of leads in an Argento film. Him and say Max von Sydow.
Yes, and yeah,
they're probably the two standouts for me. But yeah, like you say, you mentioned John Saxon, didn't you?
Yeah, John Saxon. Like I said, just a all around great actor. Of course, I know him originally from A Nightmare on Elm Street. Of course, he's good at playing the police officer. From before that, Black Christmas, of course. The Bruce Lee film, Enter the Dragon. He's in that one.
Nightmare Beach, he was in.
Nightmare Beach. Yeah, Lenzi's Nightmare Beach. Yeah.
The Girl Who Knew Too Much is the one I would say is one of his best.
And
I know he's kind of a comedy role in it, but I really like it.
And of course, like I said, in this one, playing a interesting character. He's the dude's agent, right? The author's agent, I believe.
Ulmer. Yeah. And he's great in this as well. Because what it was, Argento really liked John Saxon a lot. So basically, he hated Anthony Franciosca, Argento. They were arguing all the time. Daria Nicolodi was kind of in the middle of it all. And she said the two of them were so hot-headed on set that they just butted heads throughout the whole filming. And Argento even accused Daria Nicolodi and this guy and
sleeping together. Something.
Well, he said they were flirting and they were may have been the start of an affair, which he really pissed him off.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of good kind of background with this one. But yeah, I don't know if you want to meet the start.
Score from Goblin did the score from this, right? Or one of the composers did, but this is a Goblin score.
Right. So there's a story behind that as well. So they wanted to get Goblin, So there was kind of this big issue with getting them, apparently. So how they did it was they recruited 3 members of Goblin. This is without the drummer.
Oh, right.
So,
okay.
so if you notice, it's never said Goblin on the same track, but it is Claudio Simonetti, who's,
but you can totally tell, yeah.
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
get to those
yeah.
scenes.
It was just a way to get around that, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like like I say, just all-star cast, just from the kind of start of this and just towards the ending of it, it's a whodunit. IMDb kind of says it right. Giallo, slasher, horror, whodunit, horror, just whatever you can put, like everything in this and stuff like that. And it's almost like you say, Darren, it is a quintessential Giallo.
It's a masterpiece. Yeah.
I would suggest this to anybody who wants to get into the genre. Do it. This is the one. If you want a starter thing for that, I would say this or Deep Red. Deep Red, what can you say about that film? But then you have Tenebrae, which you can be like apples and oranges with that if you want, or they can be at the same
would say
together.
This one.
Yeah.
This was the first one for me, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But I watched it because it was a video nasty. I watched it on like a real beat up print as well. Like End of the Name. Unsane, it was cut by 10 minutes in America.
Yeah, the Unsane cut, just like
I
gotta love it.
And I was like, not that, you know. At first, I was like, oh, I don't think too much of this. But then it kind of opened my eyes when I ended up getting the Blue Underground. There's Dirk in the house. Hey, man.
Yeah, what's going on, Dirk? Subjective Perspective Collective. Going to be cool to have those two dudes on Thursday and stuff like that. Going to be talking about some Mimsy Farmer. And, yeah, that's going to be fun. Good to see and hear Dirk and stuff like that, too. And, yeah, talking about Tenebrae. You know, you had good ideas of Tenebrae versus New York Ripper. It's like different type of films, but the same type of premise here.
Well, and this was actually, I was reading up on it. This is actually Argento's type of response to De Palma's like Dress to Kill.
Oh, that's right, because that was done before. Oh, shit.
Yeah, 2 years before. So the two of them, I'm telling you, right, this is what I think personally. I think the two of them both like pushed each other to do better things throughout the early 80s. Even though they won't admit it. I think Dario does admit that he actually, I think he thinks Dress to Kill was a bit of an influence with this one.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Yeah.
But he wanted to get away from doing the Three Mothers films because Inferno was such a bad film to work on. He said everything went wrong. He was ill.
Yeah.
Because he directed a lot of those scenes like Let Down, you know? But this was kind of like he just wanted to start from scratch again, like Deep Red, and just go back.
Just back to basics and
what he does best, you know.
Definitely a back to a basics film. Just go ahead and start it off there, Darren, of how this story all starts and unfolds.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So we have the opening, right? So we got, you know, someone with black gloves. They're looking through the book Tenebrae, and they're actually talking while they're looking through the book Tenebrae. There's like a big roaring log fire in the background, and they read, "The impulse has become irresistible. There was only one answer to the fury that tortured him, and so he committed his first act of murder." It's just brilliant. It starts off very similar to Inferno, actually. Even though we're listening to the we're listening to the killer in this one, right? Obviously, that doesn't happen in Inferno, but it does start off with the book and all that. But another line he says, it's like the most deepest taboo, and found not guilty, not anxiety or fear, rooted but freedom. Every humiliation which stood in his way could be swept aside by a simple act of annihilation, murder. And that comes up a couple of times in the film, and it's just fucking brilliant. I love that line.
To your point, Darren, real quick, it's an homage to those. What did you call those books that were done basically before Giallos? Kind of seems to be an homage to those type of thriller books from that time. That's why.
Like the detective novels. Yeah,
definitely.
Because he definitely quotes Arthur Conan Doyle. There's a very famous scene where like he literally tells you how the plot is going and how it's going to end, like, you know,
crazy.
with this one line, which is superb.
Doesn't he throw those some pages in the fire? Or I know he uses them. You'll get to that. I know he uses them for other purposes as well. So.
This is it. Yeah, he does in that opening scene. He basically throws the book into the fire.
Yeah.
And then you've got that fucking theme music kicks in.
Yes.
Right from the opening credits. And I'll tell you now, every time I put the opening to Tenebrae on, I have fucking goosebumps. Like,
it's like Deep Red, really. It's like Deep Red, like that one scene in Deep Red where you see the hands of the killer just throwing the stuff around and just the theme starts, and that is so good. Kind of like that. So that's this kind of thing with that. It worked really good.
How this is like the music combined with the visuals in this film. It's just, I just can't say highly enough of it. It's completely outstanding. And it just works so well, because we're going to come on to a scene again in a bit, which I'll probably tell you when we come to it. It's in my top. It's probably my top Argento scene of all time. And I think you'll know which one I'm on about when we come on to it.
This one I noticed too. It's his less colorful film, you can say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was
not a lot of blues, not a lot of reds, not a lot of these lighting colors, really, except from scenes which you'll get to in the house.
Well, this is the reason he wanted to get away from doing the bright colors of like Deep Red and his early Giallo films.
It's a transition for him. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's all done in kind of pastel colors. If you notice, like very pale. And that was obviously done. You know, Luciano Tovoli was the basically the cinematographer.
Okay.
He did do Deep Red with him as well, but they kind of went for a different look in this film.
Yeah.
It's outstanding, man. So you've got Peter Neal, right? So it starts off, he's riding his bike from New York City, and he's riding to the airport. And then once he gets to the airport, he takes a phone call off his and it's not known whether they're still lovers, but I think they've kind of had a big, fallout with Jane.
Relationship thing going on.
Yeah. So I think they're kind of like, not together type thing. But so he takes a phone call from her, and it seems really strained, the phone call. But as he puts his bag down, something happens with another lady, and they kind of sabotage his bag. But we find out that that's, Jane as well. That's not a spoiler. We do find that.
Yeah, that's weird. That's kind of cool. It's like, oh, it's a thief. I like the way the camera follows her. It follows these characters. I've always loved that about Italian cinema. They follow the people. I always liked that about that.
Oh man, so straight from the off, we don't know what's happening with the bag and all that, going.
He makes you think about it. He does. He makes you think about it. It's like, okay, what's going on here?
And then we go straight into the scene there where you've got Elsa Manni, played by Ania Peroni, of course. And she was like, big star at the time, for these kind of lesser known, type of horror films. And yeah, she plays this thief basically.
Really
she's in
pretty.
Cemetery, and she played one of the three mothers in Inferno as well.
Oh, that's right. She played the maid or whatever. Yeah, the babysitter in House by the Cemetery.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and you can tell her just by her eyes. She got these piercing eyes.
IMDb has a good picture of her. Yeah, basically from that.
But yeah, so she steals this book Tenebrae, and she kind of gets caught up. She bribes the security guard with sex to basically let her off.
That's really funny. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
What's weird about that scene as well is the security guard is he's the brother of I think like one of the big writers on the film. Let me just think now. I have got it written down, so we'll come onto it later. Yeah, we'll come on to that later. But yeah, he's basically a brother of a big, like, well-known writer.
Yeah.
But yeah, this scene is great.
Was it the department store manager?
Yeah.
Ennio Girolami.
That's the guy. Yeah. He is a brother. I don't know. Do you want to Google that a minute, Chris? Because it's going to bug me.
No, it's right here. So this is what he looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
that's the one.
He was an actor and assistant director So.
Oh, he's a brother to Enzo G. Castellari. I know I was going to end up asking. I was going to end up asking.
As soon as you said Castellari, as soon as you say Castellari, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he was a very big writer, and he even directed
huge writer.
Films. But what's so great about this scene is with the tramp as well, when he follows her back to her apartment, and he starts harassing her on the way home. So she gets to her apartment, and then the killer is basically waiting for her.
Yeah.
Man, I love that scene where he holds a straight razor up to her throat. But he stuffs pages of the book into her mouth from Tenebrae. He's calling her a dirty little thief. Man, I tell you what, and then the music kicks in again as well. Because the tramp actually sees through the window of the killer attacking her.
Yes.
And like there's a runner. But yeah, another standout scene, you know, this is what Argento does best, you know. He starts off the film
through these apartments. I always
that's the term, yeah.
Yeah, that's the come. But through these places, I always like that because it's cohabitation, so it's in a room. I like that about stuff because there's nowhere to run, there's no place to hide. And you know, love it from the killer's point of view. I always like that, you know, point of view.
All the POV shots, I don't think
great.
anyone does better, you know. So we've got Peter Neal now. He's doing like a press interview. Tilda is one of the young kind of press women. He does know her from before. She's a lesbian in this film. Very attractive lady.
Oh, yes.
But she just she's great with him. And then all of a sudden, when it's time to interview him, she just
Miss D'Angelo. Tilda, Miss D'Angelo, very beautiful actress. Yeah, my goodness. Yeah.
She completely goes off on one and starts saying about him being sexist.
Yeah.
But if you notice, the Peter Neal character is actually Dario fucking Argento himself. He's wrote that character. That is Argento. And the same can be said for the musician. The musician in Four Flies.
For his comments about women in cinema and stuff like that in general too, like you say, it's the exact
Yeah. So this was him. This was him actually tongue in cheek, trying to get back, answering his critics basically. But he does. The drummer in Four Flies on Grey Velvet as well.
Yes.
Is basically based on Argento.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's basically this weirdo guy, right, in the background at this press conference.
Oh, that's right.
And he doesn't say a word. It's Cristiano Berti. He's going to play a big part in the film. Played by John Steiner. He's basically
John Steiner.
kind of yeah. Obviously no Steiner from, I think he was in Shock, Mario Bava's Shock. He turns up in quite a lot.
It's so cool, kind of just getting into this genre for a few years, and when I start to recognize names and stuff like that, I'm like, I almost made it. I'm almost there.
The thing is, you'll recognize him from Body Count, Deodato's Body Count.
Oh, that's right.
Shock. Yeah, like I said, Shock. He's in a decent giallo called Plot of Fear as well, Paolo Cavara.
Okay.
And you can't not notice him once you see him in the film. He'll pop up
right. He has that look to him, like most of those actors do and actresses.
But what's weird about his character in this, he's kind of like this big Peter Neal fan. He's like a fanboy.
Yeah, fanboy.
And he's asking him all these kind of weird questions about perversion and what's the book about. So from the off, you think, shit, that this character's really weird.
Wow.
You've got Giannani comes into it then, Cristiano Borromo. Chris probably said it better than me earlier. He's there basically to attend to Peter Neal's needs and all that.
Yeah, he's like a bellboy type of a person.
Yeah, he goes back and forth, just making sure he's got typewriter. He got
We'll get to some certain scenes in a minute, which I think are hilarious.
We're gonna go through this one.
Yeah,
So we see Daria Nicolodi for the first time as well.
As her cheery self in here. She's her cheery self in here, like in Deep Red. She's very she's not subdued. In this
I don't think this is a good role for her, though. I think she was right when she said, she was up for the girlfriend of Jane. I think she would have played that a bit better.
Oh, yeah.
This was kind of a nothing role for her. But I think Argento kind of wanted to include her, even though they weren't getting on. Professionally, they worked another 5 years later up until Opera and we all know what he does to her in opera. He basically was trying to kill her on set. I think she even said, like, you know.
Jeez.
But yeah, but so she comes into it, you know. We see the detective police Giamatti. He's played by Juliana Gemma, very big actor at the time. And he kind of interviews Peter Neal about the first murdered girl, you know. Again, he's a big fan of all his books. And yeah, so while he's actually interviewing Peter Neal, or he's basically, you know, asking him questions, the killer has put this like message like under the door. And basically it's a line from the film, from the book Tenebrae. There was only one answer to the fury that tortured him, is the line. And like, you know, the police detective said, well, that's from the book Tenebrae. And Peter Neal's like, yes. So you've got all these killings now, all these like, you know, threats to do with the book. I mean, if that don't get you, you know, if you've not seen this film, if that don't get you interested the first 20 minutes, I don't think anything will.
It's a great, it just starts out fast and just keeps you really on the edge of your seat.
We got some banging scenes as well. So the killer rings the phone, says, oh, not anxiety or fear, but freedom. You wrote those words, page 46, freedom to strike again, to Peter Neal. And he's like, shit, man, this guy is fucking completely nuts. You know?
Yeah, like, it's like, the calls on the phones, the obscene calls on the phones.
Threatening phone calls.
Right to that,
to him and his girlfriend, you know, meaning Anne, saying they're going to meet up soon. The killer's going to meet up with him soon and all that. But there's a scene that follows that, right? So we see a silhouette. We don't know who the killer is, right, at this point. We don't at this point. And there's a silhouette of the killer, and they're just going completely fucking nuts in like this black like silhouette. And it's kind of jarring, man, because it puts you on edge because the way it's done. But one of the first like really memorable scenes, I know we've got like, you know, the girl pinching the book, which is a big scene. But the first of a flashback scene on the beach, this is incredible. This is fucking Argento at his best.
Eva Robbins. Robbins plays that girl on the beach with the white dress and the red heels.
And so just to give a little bit of info on that, Eva Robbins was actually born a man in real life. So she's a transsexual. And with the actual scene as well, which also, you know, we got this child lullaby theme.
Yes.
It's really creepy.
Yes.
So you've got Eva Robbins, this very attractive young lady on the beach. She leads these 4 boys up onto the beach. She gets down on her knees and she's about to give each one of them oral sex. But she rejects one of them.
Yes.
And she he smacks her.
Yeah.
But what's so eerie about this is that her and the other 3 men then run after this one guy. They basically get him on the floor. She puts the heel of a red shoe in his mouth, symbolizing the phallic symbol of like rape, basically. That's what's intended for the scene. And
he slaps her pretty hard. The killer.
She ends up drawing blood.
Slaps him pretty hard. Yeah, knocks him down.
Yeah, and she spits blood at this, you know, while he's on the floor.
It's very Fever Dream-esque. It is very Fever Dream-esque, very euphoric, I guess you can say. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Right, so there's going to be 2 or 3 of these scenes as well. And what I like about it is it's piecing the puzzle together. This is the start of a piece of the puzzle. But when they do go back to those flashbacks, they get even more fucking trippier and weird.
Yeah.
But it's a big part of the plot, you know, and I mean, we're going to spoil this probably.
Yeah, we're going to spoil it anyway. It's a great film. You can spoil this and still watch it. It's highly rewatchable. It's a great film.
So we got Tilda then, you know, the lesbian press, you know, woman we've seen earlier. She's with her girlfriend, and her girlfriend plays like this slutty type of girl, completely different to her. And her girlfriend kind of taunts her because she pulls this man at this cafe or wherever they are.
Yeah.
And she says she's going to go back basically to screw this guy. And obviously Tilda takes, you know, kind of like not very good with that.
And Dirk said that. And Dirk said that with New York Ripper, boy. Yeah, those scenes like in a restaurant type place with a table, you know. Of course, we all know folks did that a bit differently. Fauci's like, okay, I can do that. I can do that. Boy, just like spoiled little brothers going one up each other.
Yeah. it's both their like this and New York Ripper is both their kind of answer to, like, you know.
Oh yeah, you gotta love it. Gotta love it when these directors go against each other like that. We get great films because of it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Hi, Corey.
Hey, Corey. Hey, things, man.
Yeah,
but yeah, like you say, this just keeps coming banger. Every scene in this film from now on in is just banger and banger and banger, you know. So you've got Tilda then. So she gets back to her place, you know, her lover's there and everything. But this is for me, right, the best scene I've ever seen in an Argento film, right? So you've got the Luma crane shot.
Yes.
And it's 2.5 minutes, right, of Argento basically comes through the window or out the window of this apartment block, like Chris said earlier, and it in slow motion goes around the whole fucking building, doing a 180 to like see, you know, what her and her like lover are getting up to.
Like just going like up.
Yeah. It's a 2.5 minute scene, right? And it almost plays out like a music video.
It does.
It is fucking incredible, right? And then you've got the next kind of 5 minutes after it as well. So you've got 8 minutes of possibly the best Argento stuff I've ever seen. And in that, I mean, so Tilda's being watched in her apartment, right? So obviously through this Luma crane shot, you know. She's getting dressed, and as she goes to put her t-shirt or her top on, she hears the words "filthy, slimy pervert."
Oh,
and then the killer pulls this straight razor, cuts her right down a hole in her top.
Right down there. Oh, yeah, that done so well. I'm just like, as you're saying it, I'm picturing it. Right, exactly. Oh,
you tell me a better fucking kill sequence in an Argento film. It'd be hard to argue against it.
Just the way he choreographs it and just says, okay, this is what I want you to do. This is how I want this to look. And then you see it in film and stuff like that. And then it's got to be like an artist finishing, like a painting. Yeah, I hate to sound kind of corny like that, but
no,
that's
really
is what it is.
It's exactly what it is. It's a work of art.
It's
and
beautiful
every
violence.
kind of death scene in this film is a work of art.
Yeah, it's beautiful violence, that's for sure.
But it doesn't even stop there, because with the scene carries on, right? You know, so he's got the straight razor. He kind of goes like that, and he puts the bulb out with a straight razor.
That
smashes the light bulb.
Yeah, he just goes.
But then we see the killer then proceeds to chase down her lover, you know, her lesbian lover. She gets her throat slit. And then as he does it, she falls back into this mirror, which he does exactly the same shot at the start of Phenomena with his daughter in Phenomena.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, man, it is, like I said,
that original cover for Tenebrae, that's what that is. Yeah, it's on the stairwell. She's on the stairwell. Yeah,
that's there. If people haven't seen it, that's basically the scene.
It's on the stairwell, and the way that shot is at the end of that, at the stairwell, right? Because she goes back and then like that.
Yeah, it's done with a mirror in it. Like she smashes through the mirror.
Yeah,
it's fucking
that
incredible
glass stuff that they put in those nice houses and stuff like that too. Nice Italian or apartments or whatever.
And that's another thing.
What's going on, Jeffrey?
That's another thing. Hey, John. That's another thing I want to mention. So Argento with this, right? If this film seems a bit surreal to you, right? Argento was trying with this film. He wanted it set in the future, so he basically wanted where this virus has been taken out a hell of a lot of people, which brings you up to fucking what happened to us like 3 or 4 years ago, you know?
Shit. Yeah.
And when I read that, I'm like, was Argento foreseeing fucking something?
I didn't know that.
You know?
Yeah.
So if you notice some of the scenes, it's kind of the population is kind of sparse, but that's done, because
that's how they kind of do it in these films too. Is they like to center it around a certain group of people, and then there's everything else around you.
Yeah, he gives it a surreal fucking feeling, and it's very futuristic. I mean, everyone in this film looks $1 million. They've got money. You can tell every character. We come onto the house in a big, massive house of the killer.
Nice dressed, supermodel looking, basically. In a
they are very, and that was all done like the yuppie type character.
That was done on purpose. Yeah, that was done on purpose. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But then we get introduced to Laura Wendell, who I love this girl, the young girl. She's basically like the guy who runs the hotel who owns the hotel where Peter Neal's staying. She's the daughter.
Maria.
Maria, yeah. She's a big fan of Peter Neal as well. But they kind of fucking flirt together, her and Peter Neal, in one scene where she's in the bathroom and she kind of squeezes to get past him and she's rubbing herself up against him, which is kind of weird, really. But so you've got her. She comes into it. She plays a massive part that's going to come into the film a bit later on. There's another note left for Peter under the door. So, we get a cameo.
After they come back there? Is that after they come back to the place where they're at?
Yeah, they go back to the hotel. I think he still stays in the hotel room.
Okay.
She kind of fixes the plumbing, or she's got to do something with the plumbing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she seems to be Mr. Fix-It. Miss Fix-It in there and stuff like that, because he seems to be lost without her character. It seems that sometimes it's trippy how that works,
Right, and she's kind of got a thing going on as well with the young boy, the guy from the house on the edge of the park. They kind of got like a little romance going on, but which is kind of weird even more because she's even got Michelle Suave turns up as her boyfriend in this as well twice.
Yeah, twice.
And he turns up in another scene to do with the flashbacks, which I'll come on to as well, which is crazy. But so yeah, you've got a POV now of the killer in this hotel, right? So again, there's 2 assistant directors on this film. Michelle Suave was one, Lamberto Bava was another. So both of them end up doing cameos, which I think
Lamberto Bava, he's one of the I remember looking at the cast, he's elevator repairman, uncredited. That's right,
yeah.
So he's repairing the elevator.
But the note that's actually sent to Peter this time reads, "Sic transit Gloria Lesbi," right? Which basically is like a language that's basically saying, "So passes the glory of Lesbos."
Yeah.
Which obviously is relating to the killer of the 2 lesbians we just seen. Is it? I don't know. Everything is just so well written in this. It's like kind of genius.
Yeah.
But they find out the same razor in killing the 2 lesbians was the one who killed the girl first. So now they know they've got a serial killer on their hands. You've got Cristiano Berti now, John Steiner. He tells Peter Tenebrae is all about human perversion and its effects on society. And like Peter Neal says, well, yes, but that's not exactly everything what it's about,
Yeah.
But the killer's motivation is to eliminate what he calls corruption. But Peter says, well, the killer's just insane. I think you're reading too much into this,
a crazed maniac, basically. Yeah.
But when we find out who this Cristiano Berti guy is, I mean, it's so well written, man. But yeah, so there's an in joke as well with the detective Germani. So he reads all these detective novels and all that, but there's an in joke that you can never tell the fucking killer of Peter Neal's book.
He says that too. He's like, there's something interesting about books and stuff like that, where I'm like,
it's kind
like he's
of
being a fan. Joke. Like he's a fan of his work, right? And then being the detective though. So
it's kind of like really like a fanboy basically. But he does actually a bit later on in the film, he turns around to Peter Neal, he says, I fucking know who the killer is. I worked it out on page 30, which we'll come into,
Nice.
So you've got like Peter, you've got like kind of this kind of plot in the background with his ex Jane. She keeps turning up everywhere. She's like seen in the car across the road. We don't know why. He's kind of thinking, because he's kind of thinking, is Jane the one who's, you know, doing this and phone calling him, and maybe she's the killer at some point. He doesn't know, because she's supposed to be in New York at this point, you know.
Yeah, supposed to be. Yeah, it's she, of course, beautiful lady, Veronica Lario, very pretty. Of course, the typical Zhao, like white, chicken white with the large, nice, good-looking sunglasses and stuff like that. The red lipstick, all this other stuff too. Yeah,
she was actually married to the fucking, I think it was Berlusconi, the fucking president of Italy at some point. She was actually married to him during this film.
I can see that.
And I think he owned a big TV company as well. So, because he didn't really want to do the film because of a death scene to come, which we'll come into. But oh man, we've got to mention this next scene. It's like absolutely fucking amazing, right? So the killer basically lives in this big fucking futuristic house, like mansion.
Yeah.
It's got like it's gorgeous. It's got the little kind of swimming pool outside, or the little lake, or have you.
It's very modern looking, very nice, very stylish looking.
Modernized.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we find out that the killer's holding all these files and photos of all the murdered women. He's kind of got like in the basement, or he's got like a special room.
Yeah, an underground basement type thing, steps leading down to it. Yeah.
Oh man. So the killer goes out one night now looking for another victim because he starts eyeing up prostitutes. But what we don't know is he's left the key in the door of his mansion. So, you know, by mistake. So that's that, you know. But then we get on to Maria. This is just an amazing, brilliant sequence. So she ends up having an argument with her boyfriend, right? Played by Michelle
on the motorcycle or on that scooter.
On the motorbike, yeah.
It's so crazy where they're like all nicey nice and all this other stuff too. Then all of a sudden it's an argument, right? Comes to pick her up and all this other stuff too. And let me take a quick break here, Darren, and then I'll let you get on to that. I'll be right back, everybody.
Yeah. So any people in the chat that's seen this and got any comments, like questions and that, just feel free. I can see some of the chat. Hey Liv Style, nice to see you in your man. Mikey as well. Mikey's Morgue. Tenebrae, we're talking about Tenebrae, Mikey. Dario Argento. 1982. I think Chris is just taking a quick toilet break. I was due to do this with Gore, but I take it he fell asleep or what have you, so decided to do a year instead. Yeah, it is a great flick. It's possibly it's hard to argue it's possibly his greatest giallo film, and I mean I like it over Deep Red, but it's not my favorite, if that makes sense, because Opera is my favorite. But this is as close to a 10 as I think you'll ever get. 9.5. Oh man, it's even hard to argue it not being a 10, to be honest. It's that good. Because going back and looking at this time, there's not one kind of flaw in the film. I mean, everything is kind of, it's Argento, so you're gonna get kind of, you know, bits to kind of like, oh, you think that could be a little bit far-fetched than that. We're gonna come on to the dog scene now when Chris comes back, Mike. Yeah, incredible scene that goes on, and the actual chase of the girl as well with the killer, man. It's top 3 Argento scenes of all time, I think. Possibly one of the greatest chase scenes. No worries, man.
like you say, because mentioning, like I say, Mikey mentioning the dog chasing, they see that dog previously, right? It's behind the fence of that place. I think, what is it?
Right.
A couple goes past it or something like that. And I know you see that dog, and Vicious, of course, it's a German Shepherd, because you can't have a Giallo without a German Shepherd or a Rottweiler.
Right, yeah.
So, you know.
So basically, she's in the middle of nowhere, right? So her boyfriend, Michelle Suave's basically just gone and left her in the middle of nowhere. She kind of says, "Oh, you fucking bastard," and all that, doesn't she? You know?
It's like, I hate you and all this other stuff too. I'm like,
yeah.
What'd you all talk about? Just going to abandon her there.
So she gets chased and stalked by this dog. And I mean, this fucking dog is an amazing actor in itself, you know?
Goes forever. I don't think they named the name of the dog too, which usually they do. They'll name the dog that, you know, was playing this part, you know, like in when I did the
it is vicious,
with Gore,
man.
they named the dog. Yeah.
And I mean, you've got the suspense as well, where the dog's trying to get over the fence, and oh man,
it's one of the greatest scenes ever. I mean, I almost felt bad at the end and stuff like that. I'm like, boy, is this not overkill or what? It's so dang good, but I'm like, damn, dude, how much can a person take? You're gonna get to that though.
Right? Yeah. So the way, right? So this dog basically attacks her. Right? She's on the floor. The only way she can get this dog off, she grabs this fucking piece of wood. But it only kind of subdues the dog for a little bit. And this fucking dog just keeps coming and coming and coming, man.
Cujo, man.
Yeah. Oh, God, man. And it is frightening as fuck. I tell you, it is relentless the way it keeps coming. So she kind of fights it off, and to get away, she kind of sees, you know, she ends up in this house. She sees a key in the door, and she kind of lets herself in this house.
Yeah, that's
which
crazy.
Is the killer's lair.
Yeah, this is crazy how that works. Like, because like I say, with the scene, right, the dog's chasing her, but that's the thing, the way the camera just follows her, right? The way it pans and just follows the dog, thinks she loses the dog, you know.
Yeah.
Then she happens to find that place. That place happens to be there. Mansion happens to be there, you know.
One hell of a coincidence, bro.
Yeah, one hell of a coincidence, yes.
Film,
of course, it's a Giallo. Everything's by coincidence.
But when she gets in this place, right, she happens upon this fucking killer's lair room with all the photos. She sees all the newspaper cuttings of all the murders. And you've even got the fucking dog goes up against the window, doesn't he, trying to get in? And I mean,
that's honestly, when she knows she's kind of safe in there.
Yeah, it's frightening, man, I tell you.
Or so you think, but yeah.
Well, this is it. So you've got the theme music now. It starts off really slow, but it gets like really, like, you know, really cool and gets louder and louder as the scene goes on.
Yeah.
The killer basically catches her in his place, calls her like a spy, like
you little spy.
Spy, yeah. She runs off, closes the door, like, and then as she goes to run off from the killer, and closes the door on the killer's hand is in the door, and the straight razor falls out of the hand and falls into like the little pond in the garden. Yeah. An amazing scene. But the actual chase between the killer and her then is fucking second to none. Honestly, there Mikey's saying it as well. He rewinds that scene every time.
Mikey says it. Yeah, that dog chase.
It's just fucking scene after scene after scene in this film is like amazing. Like, honestly, it's completely fucking brilliant from start to finish. So the killer grabs the axe then and kills her basically in the grounds of the house.
Is it like it's outside, like?
Yes, it's like
a huge backyard park type looking place, right? Like
kind of like acres and acres of back, you know, like backyard or what have you.
She's dead tired. She's like, I can't do this anymore. I can't. It's like
no. She starts throwing the photos back at the killer and saying,
she's like, just take it.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Yeah, take it, and all that.
Yeah.
But it is fucking savage from start to finish with the actual what that girl goes through with the dog and then the killer.
Great acting by her. Great acting by her.
Yeah, which she never acted like that again. Yeah. Because I seen her in Ghost House and she's awful, right? You'll Die at Midnight, which is a giallo from Roberta Bava, which was in 1986. She's horrible in it. She's a horrible actress in that.
Okay.
But I don't know why. But this, she just killed it. Like,
some movies just bring out just that one great thing from them. Like I say, by House by the Cemetery, she's just like kind of there. That's that stare scene between her and the
Anna
husband and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that's some of my issues I have with House by the Cemetery. That's probably why I love it so much. But yeah, to your point, this is like
it's like it's kind of like, how can you put it, like a greatest hits of Dario Argento's films.
It's top. JT. I mean, I don't know if JT's done it yet, but he could do another 100 kills in films, and you could put this chase scene up here with the dog like top tier for that. It's like it's terrifying.
I mean, in general,
it's crazy.
The scene alone it's got to be in the top 5 like scenes of all time, like chase scenes. In terms of you've got because all the slashes we see, we got the final girl, yeah. But this is kind of like that, as in the chase scene.
Darren likes doing that. He liked doing that with dogs. He did in Suspiria. That came out of nowhere. Lucy Fulci did it in The Beyond with that character. Right?
Dog, yeah. I don't think it's been done. I don't.
Not like this. It hasn't never been kind of done like this and stuff like that. But like I say, top tier, all great kill scene. You can say with that too. Where it's you get that satisfying ending.
Yeah. So the killer now, after killing this girl, he writes another note to Peter Neal, and he says, "I grieve for this child. Her death was the only way I could be free to go on," which is another line from the Tenebrae book.
Yeah.
So every kill is obviously related to the Tenebrae book with the lesbians.
It's like by chapters.
Girl. Yeah. And he actually says, "I will eliminate those who disgust me, the human perverts, soon now the corrupter himself." So Peter Neal now knows that he's coming after him.
He's like the last one, right? Because the killer seems to be going in order. So
absolutely.
The final chapter, so to speak.
Kind of thing, yeah. So the detective Germani shows up now, and he said, "This is where he says, Peter Neal, I worked out the killer on page 30 of Tenebrae, and because of the
he's like, really?
He's like, funny."
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So Peter then remembers, right, that Cristiano Berti used the same phrase in the letters when he was doing that interview with him on TV. And he kind of works it out who the killer is. It's it's because he says something along the lines of Darren Nickelodeon's character says to him, "Well, why don't you tell the detective?" And he says, "Oh no, the detective won't want to, listen to a writer of crime novels." But he says, in a way, he says, "Wouldn't it be fucking cool if a crime writer could work out who the killer was in this case," which is an amazing line, I think.
Yeah, the banter between them both is done very well.
Yeah, because he's kind of Germani's kind of like this very smart yuppie type, detective, which is kind of strange, for the time. But you've got Peter then and the young boy Gianni. They decide to break into Cristiano Berti's garden.
They do. They're all scoping it out from the bushes. Yeah.
Right, because he's worked out who the killer is there, right? So they're looking in the garden. They see the killer. They see Cristiano Berti, and he's trying to destroy the evidence.
Yeah, because it's his. Yeah, we figure out it's his house, so it's his place. Right. Yeah.
I mean, this is another great scene. So they go round the back of the house, but what happens is the boy goes off. He leaves Peter Neal, right? So he goes.
I think he tells him to go back to the car.
Yeah.
So
he goes up to the window, right? Yeah. So he sees the killer, or he sees Cristiano Berti get killed by an axe. And he mutters something which he doesn't quite remember what he says. So it's an amazing scene where the killer with an axe then kills the killer.
Right,
so we've got
two window.
Yeah. So we now know there's two fucking killers, man. And it's like a piece of the jigsaw, really, that needs to be kind of solved. Because as he goes back to Peter Neal to tell him that he's seen Berti get killed, Peter Neal's got this gash on his head, and he says he's been hit over the head. Hey, Jane.
Hey, Jane.
So he says he's been hit over the head. You know, he's got like this massive gash.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
But he kind of like, you know, Gianni can't work out what it is. There's a piece missing to the whole of this that could, like, you know, you could find out straight away what it is. He's just finding that piece of the jigsaw, because he doesn't see the killer's face at all.
No, he doesn't.
But
no, that's done really well. That whole scene just doesn't know what it is. Then you see him kind of knocked out there on the lawn. He goes, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think the eagle-eyed viewer, though, once he gets back in the car with Peter, right? Because Peter turns around and says to Gianni, did you see the killer's face? Did you see the killer's face?
He's like, no. Oh, I mean, yeah, that's right. That scene, dude, in the car. That's right.
I didn't work it out. The first time I seen it, I didn't work that out.
No, that's an interesting
But looking back in hindsight, yeah, it's a clue. It's a massive clue.
It's a big one. Yeah.
You know, there's also another big clue that Peter does give away as well about him being a child on Rhode Island. Because if you put 2 and 2 together, you've got the flashbacks of the transvestite lady on the beach, which was in Rhode Island. So you might be able to work it out, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't think you'll completely work it out on first watch. Because when it comes to the end, it just goes off. And
never with these first-time watches with these films. No, there's no way I can't do it. But
right. Yeah. There's a whole subplot then of Bulmer, John Saxon's character, is having an affair with Peter's like girlfriend or ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because that's all to do with the red
publisher. Yeah, he's his publisher. Yeah.
Yeah. So the red stilettos are sent to his girlfriend, you know, Jane.
Yeah, they're present. Yeah.
And we don't know who sent them to her. But again, another great scene. We got John Saxon's death scene. So he's in the center of Rome, in like the square.
Literally, that lasts for like, it just seems to be him there. There's people. Was there kids playing or something like that? There's stuff going on.
Kids playing. What it is there's kids playing. There's a girlfriend kind of getting dumped by a boyfriend.
Yeah, he's watching all this. That's very Argento-like. That's very Argento-like.
Right.
He's done that in films before. He did that. He did that in, I think, Four Flies. I think he did that in Four Flies. I'm forgetting.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, he did that in Four Flies.
Yeah. I think it's almost done exactly the same in Four Flies, but which will come on to Thursday. But we even see these two guys getting into an argument, and he kind of laughs it off, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's basically everyday Rome happening around him, you know?
It's quiet. It's very quiet, too. I love that scene because he's just in there smiling, just waiting. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So what I like about this scene as well is so we get like he works out who the killer, or the killer actually, he knows who the killer is, because he goes to say hi and then fucking gets stabbed in the stomach.
Yes.
So we know now that he knows who the killer is.
Do you see the heels? Did they show the heels then? Or they
see
did.
The heels walking, you know,
in
broad
daylight.
The crime,
in broad daylight, in front of everybody. Yeah.
So he's due to meet Jane. So we're thinking, is that Jane? So I'm guessing that's Jane,
that, right? Yeah.
But she walks off for some reason because she doesn't want to be connected, because their whole
that's what you're
is
thinking. Is like going, I gotta kind of end this. Is like going.
Right.
I think he looks down first and he sees the. Sorry, because I'm just revisiting this stuff.
No, go on, man.
And I think he does see the heels, and then he looks up, and then you see the expression on his face where something's going on. Right. I like that. I always like that about John Saxon. He didn't tell you anything with that, but something's amiss. So
no, it's a great scene. You've got another flashback to the beach scene again, with the same kind of nursery rhyme music. We see a close-up of the killer's eye, and then you see the girl in the red shoes, stilettos, actually get knifed to death in a flashback. And
in a flashback dream sequence.
Yeah, which will all become evident as we go. You know?
Dude.
I love that scene. It's just the fucking music, like nursery kind of rhyme.
Yeah.
It just works, man.
Bring around the rosy type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So we find out then, you know, obviously we know that Bulmer was having an affair with Jane. Peter tells Giovanni then, you know, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. And that was taken from the Conan Doyle book, you know.
Okay.
That was like a quote. And again, I think you won't work out for sure, like, but I mean, you can't, it kind of put you, you know, where you can kind of piece things together. But that does actually come slightly before Bulmer's death scene, so maybe I'll jump the gun a little bit.
No,
but so Jane gets the gift of the stilettos. We don't know who sent them to her. With, you know, the killers obviously sent them to her. I mean, but they're kind of trying to make out it was a lover, John Saxon, who sent them. Yeah, man. So you've got Gianni goes back now to the house because he's thinking to himself.
Is there a scene, real quick, going back? Isn't there a scene where she's hiding in the closet to Bulmer's office? I think, because I think he gets visited by somebody, and she's hiding in there because, of course, she flew there. Neil Peter's not supposed to know that she's there. Doesn't even know that
he's on the phone to Peter Neal.
Yes.
And then like Peter Neal says basically, I'm leaving for New York, you know. There's no fucking deal.
Ready to go. Yeah.
Because he wants Peter Neal to sign this $1 million deal.
Yeah.
But Peter Neal says there's no fucking deal in the world worth risking my life for.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then she comes out the closet then. Then that's where we find out they've been having the affair. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But Gianni goes back to the house, the young boy, the blonde boy.
Yep.
Because he feels like he's missed something. And this is another great scene because it's stormy. It's late at night. You've got the fucking rain and the lightning.
Yeah, he's in the car.
Yeah, so Peter's supposed to be on this flight to New York. So Gianni goes back. He realizes he saw Christina Berti was actually the killer. And Christina Berti was actually saying, I am the killer. It was me who did it. It was me who did it before he gets the axe. And basically, he runs back to the car. The boy, Gianni, runs back to the car.
Yeah, because he sees something. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like as he's about to drive off, the keys are gone from the car.
See, he turns back.
Just as he looks up, you've got the
That's
fucking
so
killer.
good there from the side of the seat.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
like the like that. Yeah.
Yeah, just fucking the way it's done.
Just like,
and he's like there, he's fucking can't, struggling for breath. He can't fucking catch his breath, and he's killed then. Yeah, another great scene. Another great scene.
Just like that. All the players are almost gone. So.
And it keeps coming though, because you've got Jane then, she phones Anne to explain that she wants to see her, she's feeling suicidal and all that. Bulmer's housekeeper has basically told the police that he's got a regular girlfriend. So they Giovanni kind of pieces together everything now as well.
Like, wait a minute. Yeah.
So Jane is in her apartment, right? And it's all this lush of white walls. She's sat at the table. She's got like a gun in her hand. And then out of fucking nowhere, this axe comes through the window and chops her fucking hand off, her arm off, or hand. And she's got the blood.
Great scene. Yeah, Dirk's done that in his intro videos. He's done that in his intro videos. Yeah, that is kind of trippy where she goes like, they did that for a reason, like spring it on the wall and just like, and all this other stuff.
And there's no coincidence to the fact that it basically looks like a work of art.
Yes.
The way the blood sprays
everywhere.
That's
not by chance. That's not by chance.
No, because I'll tell you why that wasn't by chance. Because that, at the end of the film, all I'll say, like, we'll come on to it now, there's a piece of art that ends up, being prominent.
Right.
So that was done. Yeah, there's no coincidence with that. So again, we got the killer, we got the flashback again, another flashback to the girl on the beach scene. And basically, where she's got the red stiletto, basically is taken from her dead body by the killer. And we see the killer's eye again. So the killer's taken these two red stilettos, which he obviously ended up sending to Jane as well.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
Is fucking eerie. It's crazy. You've got the female police officer turns up at the apartment as well.
That's right.
So fucking she ends up getting a fucking axe to her as well. It is crazy, man.
Because that's when you realize the killer's in the house. So the killer's there. It's in the hotel room, basically. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they don't even like disguise it as well. We know it's Peter Neal from this point as well, because he's hiding behind the wall, and then as Detective Germani comes in, he kind of gets up and they see each other, and then he fucking knows exactly what's been going on.
It's one of the greatest. I never saw it coming. I didn't. I couldn't have done that. That's one of the greatest twists I've ever seen. One of the greatest turns I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Anthony's a great actor. Just a total switch, a la Psycho. It's a great twist. It's alternate personality.
It is crazy. Like, it completely had me fooled the first time. It's so you got Dario Nickelodeon's character turns up. So you got her and the police detective, and you got the killer, fucking Peter O'Neill.
Yeah, the author of the book is doing all this crazy shit.
He's now in this psychotic state now where he's just gone completely.
He's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. He's out of it. He's gone.
Insane.
That harkens back to Four Flies. That also harkens back to Four Flies.
Yeah.
Yes.
But hey, out of nowhere, he fucking slits his throat with a straight razor. And
slowly. He's like
that's the twist. Chris
like that. Yeah.
Oh man, it's done amazingly well. It looks so realistic.
It does.
His acting, I think, is second to none. Honestly,
it's really good. Yeah.
So we find out now, right, that he was in fact the fucking teenager on the beach with this
teenager
transvestite. He ended up killing this transvestite girl, Eva Robbins, and basically this kind of haunted him for his whole life. But the thing is, right, so all the killings before this was done by Cristiano Berti. But what Peter Neal was thinking was he wanted to get rid of Bulmer and he wanted to get rid of his ex-girlfriend because they were having an affair behind his back. So what better way? Yeah.
He found out about it. Yeah, that's when you know he's a lot smarter than you all think he is. It's
right.
Like, yeah.
So what better way to kill somebody off than when there's a homicidal fucking maniac on the loose?
Oh yeah, just like the book.
Martino's did it a lot of times.
Oh yeah.
This is like the writing in this is fucking second to none, like, you know. So yeah, and there's even another twist where they kind of leave the scene of the crime, you know, and they leave Peter Neal on the floor. He's had his throat slashed and all that. But for some strange reason, Germani decides to go back because they're both in the car, and he decides to go back, and Peter Neal is like fucking gone. He's not there no more, or at least we think he's not there no more. So you've got that killer shot, man, where you've got Germani. He's bending down in frame, and then as he fucking gets, you know, slowly gets up, you see, or slowly gets down, I should say, you see fucking Peter Neal in the background.
Yeah.
Like a silhouette right behind him.
Is that where detective, is that where he picks up the razor or the knife? And there's a button on there, right? Or is that
he's already slashed his throat and done that, you know, with the straight razor, like
okay.
Razor. So this is where you know the scene from Nightmare in a Damaged Brain where the killer is behind?
Yes.
And they loom and they just come into the frame.
Yes.
So I think De Palma did it. I know, funny enough, Argento said he did it before in Inferno, but he said he didn't have the same effect. I can't remember because I've not seen Inferno for a while.
I have to revisit that film. I think I know what you're talking about with that, but yeah, I couldn't picture it at the moment.
But De Palma did it in Raising Cain, you know? It's such a like famous shot. But yeah, so he fucking axes the Germani, then the detective, to death. Oh man, like, and the way he goes into like this psychotic fucking state is
right. He's
incredible.
like right behind him. It's like a. That scared the bejesus out of me first time I saw that because he looks so menacing when he does it. He's like that, and he's like, I'll just hit somebody. He's like, you know, it's like
yeah. So in doing that, a big piece of artwork in this apartment, it's like how would you describe it, Chris? It's like a load of spikes, but it's done
Yeah.
in like this
Yes.
artwork.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because I'm just kind of repicturing it as you're talking about it. Yes. Oh,
Yeah, and I know I
Yeah.
gotta be fair to Chris mine because Chris is doing this on the spot. Chris didn't get
yeah.
a chance to
No,
properly
that's
rewatch.
right. That happens to be there. Like I said, with these films, it just happens to be there. Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about
But as
that.
he's killing the detective, this piece of artwork falls up against the door.
How trippy is that? Yeah.
It is amazing, right?
Not by
Dario
happenstance.
Nicolodi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dario Nicolodi then comes in and she's banging on the door to get
That's
in.
right. That's when she sees it like, oh, God, let me in. Because she doesn't know what's going on.
No.
So
All
she's
she
like, oh, my
hears is,
God,
like,
what's
fucking,
going on? You
like,
know?
all the commotion going on. So as she fucking forces this door open, this piece of artwork comes and fucking impales Peter Neal. Oh, man, it's the way it's done.
Is it from the back or the front?
From the front.
Yeah, that's right.
Is it from? It might be from the back, but he's trying to pull in this fucking piece of artwork, but where it's covered in blood, it's so slippery he can't get it to fucking.
He can't get it out. He's like sitting there like like that, and it's pouring down rain outside. Yeah, she happens to go back out, right, and there you go.
So the film ends very fucking iconically with Dario Nicolodi just screaming the fuck.
When it's pouring down rain, because she goes back outside. They did that for a reason. Dario's like, hey, get your ass back outside in the fucking rain.
Yeah.
And we can just do that because it looks so well. And she is screaming. And I'm like, oh, that is good. It's one of the best screams in horror history, in my opinion.
It's one of the best endings ever, I think.
Yeah.
Because you've got the synthesizer fucking theme comes on then to end the credits.
Just like Deep Red. Yeah, man. Just like Deep Red.
I give this last time I watched it a few days ago, I give it a 9 on Letterboxd, but fuck it now. I think I'm going to change that to a 10.
Oh,
I'm going to go all out. Yeah, I'm going to go all out. I absolutely love this fucking film, man.
It gets a strong 8.5 out of 10 for me. First time ever really watching it.
Have you seen it once?
It's definitely highly rewatchable, but it's definitely an 8.5 out of 10. It's top tier Argento. It's top tier Giallo. Yeah, it can be in anybody's top 5 Giallo of all time list. I mean,
it's top.
You can put it there.
The thing is, you can go way about. You can kind of go two ways about it in terms of as his best films or the ones you more enjoy. As his best films, this is easily in the top 2. I mean, it could possibly be his best film, along with Suspiria, maybe.
Yeah. When I did my top Dario's, I put, of course, Deep Red that as my number 1 Argento film. That's a perfect film to me. I can never give a film a 10 out of 10. It gets a 9.5 out of 10. I've always said Deep Red's the last great Giallo ever done. Tenebrae is like right kind of behind it. Opera is like right behind it. That's like you can put any of these films from him, like you say, is number 1 all time from him and stuff like that. He just seems to have where he can get he's had his duds. Dario's had his duds, make no mistake. He's had his duds before. But then you can just
not many up until this point.
Not many at all. And then you can just come back and just hit it out of the park where, this is a great film. Yeah, this
is because I'm not sure if I mentioned it to you or Dirk, but do you fancy like me, you and Dirk doing opera at some stage? Like
Absolutely.
The 3 of us going deep. I mean, really fucking deep on that.
You've said it. Opera has about 3 different endings.
Oh, I love it, man.
I
actually like it.
A lot of people love that film. You're all the ones that Brad's introduced me to that film. You all introduced me to that film. I have the Scorpion release. Of course, I have that German media book release. That's a 4K. I know Severin's releasing that. It's a great. It's a WTF type of Giallo, but it's a great one. Oh yeah.
Tenebrae is not far away from
it's not. A lot of stuff goes on. This is a great release, people, if you can still get it. This is released from this is the Synapse release. I don't know if you can get this version anymore, but they do have a 4K. They do have the 4K of it. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. Great transfer for this. It's a great film. Beautiful.
So coming into a little bit of background on this film, did you realize, right? So this film, the way this film got conceived, right? So Argento basically, right, had this fucking kind of a stalker. and they were phoning her up in his hotel room, and they were saying how much they liked his films. And at first, Argento thought, "Oh, this is great," you know. He was talking to this guy like once, and then he kept ringing the following night, the following night, the following night. So Argento said the phone calls kept getting weirder and weirder, where this guy was saying he was going to kill Argento, pretty much like what's in his films. And this guy as well, that on the other end of the phone, they could never trace even to this day, called himself the Great Punisher. And this basically inspired Argento to write the script, because this was actually called Under the Eyes of the Killer the first time.
Okay.
The first time he wrote it, which later became Tenebrae, because to do with darkness, Tenebrae, shadows, darkness. And of course, it was called Insane in the US.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was really fucking weird, like some psychopath kind of,
If y'all see me looking to Darren's right, through IMDb, just with the trivia, the impressive 2.5 minute crane shot that encircles Tilda's house took 3 days to be completed. American distributors wanted the shot to be cut from the film for U.S. release, but Argento refused it. So he refused it. Of course he did. Quotes, Peter Neal, let me ask you something. If someone is killed with a Smith & Wesson revolver, do you go and interview the president of Smith & Wesson?
That's a great line. You tell me a better scene than that fucking 2.5 minute fucking Luma crane scene, and then try and convince me of a better scene, because I don't know one.
One of the goofs they mentioned,
it's the greatest thing he's ever done.
One of the goofs that they mentioned of the film was when Peter chases after the killer out in the street. When Peter chases the killer out in the street, the long shot shows him from the rear, looking to his left, but in the following close-up from the front, he's looking to his right. Yeah, that happens. It's like...
Oh, God, I didn't even notice that. I wouldn't,
Yeah, it's the scene from Torso, right? Where the lovers are in the car, she comes out, the lights are off, and then you go to a scene and the lights are back on in the car, where she goes back to the car. So it's like...
I don't even
turn on the lights.
Too much into all that.
They do the crazy credits, and screams continue even as the ending credits roll. So that goes to Deep Red, where you see the main character looking down at the blood there. That's a great shot, and he is blinking. They continue doing that, and I'm like, so
parts of
see the credits.
You can see there's parts of Deep Red in Tenebrae if you look closely as well. But with this film as well, right? So as with the Bird with the Crystal Plumage, right? Obviously the opening of the Bird with the Crystal Plumage in the art gallery. Have you seen that, Chris?
What is it?
Have you seen Bird with the Crystal Plumage?
I have it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Yeah, Arrow released the first 2 in the Animal trilogy. Great additions, by the way, of those.
Yeah, so you've got the art gallery in that, and you've got the art. The art comes into play in this as well, So, yeah, that again, all done not by fucking chance,
Like I said, the filming locations, this was filmed all over Italy. It was filmed in New York.
Just the opening scene with when he's
Lazio, Italy, Rome. Lazio,
Lazio is a part of Rome,
Viale, Peru, or whatever it is. It was released in February 17th, 1984, even though the film was made in 82.
Right, I've got some info on that when I come onto it now in a bit.
Yeah, also known as Tina Blas, I guess you could say. It called her Tina Blas.
Right.
Different.
So do you know when the lesbian girl Tilda gets killed with the shot with the t-shirt when she's putting the shirt on and the razor?
Yeah.
That is actually there's a very similar scene in the Spiral Staircase, 1946.
Okay.
Honestly, man, if you see the two together, you'll be like, fuck. There's no way that's
nice.
I think like Argento put his own stamp on it, I think,
Yeah.
But that Eva Robbins was actually born a man called Roberto Maurizio Cotti.
Okay.
Very well-known transsexual of the time. I suppose you could say she starred in a giallo called Bad Inclination, which was done in the 2003, I believe.
Okay.
I won't give away a role in that, but she plays a pretty big role in that one. So yeah, Tenebrae was shot in secrecy, basically, in the summer of 1982. The newspaper, press, and all that were given no clues to what it was going to be about. Argento wanted it went on release to be a total surprise to everyone. It was pretty much a box office success. I think it finished 12 in the Italian box office for that year. And it outdid Rocky 3 at the time.
Wow.
As well, which is like,
wow.
yeah.
Good. Wow.
Which is massive.
Here's something interesting for certain trivia and stuff like that. So Dario saw Andrei Zulawski's Possession done in 1981. So there's certain scenes in that, like with the chick and the lady in the subway station.
I've read about that. I've not seen it. Like Dirk, I think Dirk wants me to see Possession and cover it because I've heard good things.
That's on the Video Nasties list as well. I have the Umbrella release of that. That's on Shudder too. You probably find it on some streaming thing stream it for free, Darren.
So that
film is a trip. That film is a trip. Sam Neill is in that one. That film is a trip. It's like David Cronenberg and the other David Lynch, and a lot of these people just had a baby and just kind of created this film. It's a trip.
I've heard it's kind of divisive. You're either going to love it or hate it.
It's done in Germany. So
I'll probably love it, to be honest, from what I've heard. Yeah, man. I've still got a few other...
Yeah, Tenebrae means darkness or shadows. So, Latin Italian term for that. So it's like, reportedly inspired after director Dario Argento was stalked by a fan. So, yeah, you mentioned that one, that he was,
So, Luciano Tovoli, I think I said he directed Deep Red. He was the cinematographer on Deep Red earlier, which I got wrong. I've just corrected myself here. So, he was the cinematographer on Suspiria, and they wanted to go for a completely different view. I told you all the stuff about Goblins. Well, that was crazy when they had to basically just get Claudio Simonetti and the other two members and leave out the drummer because of some kind of contractual thing.
Christopher Walken was considered for the lead role as the writer.
He was, he's actually declined. He was actually asked as well. But
that would be a trip to see him in a Dario Argento film at the time.
I'll tell you why I'm glad he went with Antonio Franciosa, right? Because don't you think Christopher Walken would have been odd anyway, and you would have worked it out?
No, he's always been an odd, trippy cat.
Yeah, so absolutely. I think you would have worked it out with Christopher Walken.
I can't see him being that type of person. I can't see him being that person. How strange that is to sound like that. He's more of a method actor to me. I know that sounds kind of
right. Okay, yeah. No, that sounds I'm glad they went with the guy they did because Antonio
goes back to
brilliant.
It goes back to Monia, where they asked Peter Cushing to play a part in that film, and he refused because he said he used the excuse that he doesn't do horror films or something like that. I'm like, oh, that's a lie. So it's
basically just didn't want to do it.
Yeah, he just didn't want to do it.
But Argento did. I think I may have mentioned it earlier. He did like John Saxon because he brought him back for the Masters of Horror episode he did called Pelts.
So good, like I said, he was in Mario Bava. He was in Mario Bava's. I mean, really the first Giallo, if you really think about it. So it's like, it's kind of a mainstream in that genre.
It really is.
Cool. Yeah.
The Girl Who Knew Too Much is one of my favorite films of all time.
And to your point, they quote Sherlock Holmes' story. How often have I said to you that when you eliminated the impossible, whatever means, however improbable, must be the truth. Must be the truth.
It's completely genius. But the scene on the beach with the red heels is like a phallic symbol, right? So, and I mentioned earlier, it's basically like a male rape in a way. But the red shoes was kind of a nod to Michael Powell's Emmerich Pressburger's The Red Shoes, which was made in 1948. It's kind of Argento's like little bit of an influence on with that.
Nice. What's interesting here, I mean, these are there's a lot of trivia and stuff. Did you know stuff from here? That's why you can like IMDb every once in a while. Dirk would be impressed with this. Unused Muzak from Goblin's Dawn of the Dead 78 score plays in the background of the scene where Tilda and her girlfriend argue before said girlfriend leaves with a man. right before
it's an amazing piece of music.
famed crane shot.
Yeah,
how about that?
Honestly, it's an amazing piece of music.
Unused stuff. It's like, okay, let's use this. You hadn't used it, and Dawn of the Dead cut there. That I
know I'm going to go back to that scene as well with the crane and with the murder of the two lesbians.
Yeah.
But the music in that, like you say, that piece of music combined with the theme, it's fucking incredible. It really is.
To your point, they mentioned the Hound of the Baskervilles, which is one of the greatest, probably the greatest Sherlock Holmes story ever. It's like top 10. A lot of people consider that like a top 10 novel of all time. The Hound of the Baskervilles is like top tier. I know Peter Cushing played that part. So, that's in the film.
Yeah.
It's like, by a black hound. Where Marie is struck by a black hound, yeah.
But going back to, I just thought of this now, but going back to the art in an Argento film, so you've got Bird with the Crystal Plumage, and the obvious, which I didn't even think about, you've got the Stendhal syndrome, where pieces of art fucking affect how a person, can bring on an illness.
Suave shows up in this film too. Michelle Suave shows up in this film too, as well as Lamberto Bava. So you have two.
He's in. Suave turns up as the boyfriend of the girl because he's the guy on the motorbike.
Yes, that's so funny. That's so cool.
Though,
yeah,
he ends up in one of the flashback scenes with the girl on the beach as well. Like,
wow,
it's weird because he plays two different characters. But he was assistant director, as you know, along with Lamberto.
That's so cool. Yeah, harkens back to some of those films I need to watch from him. So yeah.
But yeah, this was actually a video nasty as well. So this is how I come the first year of it. But what they did with do you know the Unsane version in America? They cut 10 minutes out, right? And they weirdly put on this Kim Wilde like song on the end credits. Okay. Which is weird when you think about it.
Yeah, because they don't want to hear her screaming probably.
But I need to go back and watch that version again just to to give it another watch. But yeah, that's pretty much fucking hell, man. I think
was it
pretty much exhausted.
Sample of the film's theme song Tenebrae by Goblin appears in the song Phantom and Phantom Part 2 by French house duo Justice on their album Cross 2007. So it's.
I will say if Keith is watching or watches this Stay in the Line, I hope he doesn't get kind of offended. But I really I was going to do this like with Keith last week as well. So I really wanted to just get it done and out the way,
Yeah. It's great stuff, Darren. I know your appreciation for this film. I know your passion for this film. I mean, God, if you're not into giallos, this is it. This is it. Even if you don't like them, if you think they're too artsy or something like that, trust me, there's a lot. There's a lot of artsy giallos out there. There's a lot. You know what I mean?
Please, like anyone watching this video, whether it be live or down the line.
So good. This is good. This is quintessential right here. This is quintessential viewing, just like with a novel or anything else, like whatever films or books to read before you die. This is a film you need to watch before you die if you have not seen it yet.
If you're a slasher fan, you're doing yourself a disjustice by not watching this.
Schools could have this. Cinema schools would probably put this up for students to watch and study. I can see that happening. Films like this. Mario Bava.
Well, that's a great point. That's a great fucking point because this is a blueprint, Giallo.
Yeah, it's a blueprint.
This is a fucking blueprint. For the time,
for the 80s, it's a huge blueprint. Dario at the time realized that stuff was changing. He was kind of the first to kind of see that stuff was kind of changing. Maybe I need to kind of transition to something a little different here, kind of keep the same aesthetics.
Right.
What I do. You can see that in Inferno. You can totally see that in Inferno. That's totally different from Suspiria than anything I've really seen before. I mean, as a film.
I've not seen Inferno in quite a long time, but me and Dirk are going to be doing that sometime in October. On the run up to Halloween, we're going to do.
That's going to be a great live you all do because that film does not get talked enough, in my opinion. That's a very good. Blue Underground has it. I'd like a 4K of it. I think that film would look great in 4K. I mean, there's 4Ks.
I love it, but it's just
some films would look great in 4K. Some films would look great in 4K. That's one of them. That's
got to be coming as well. Yeah. I mean, I love the film. It's just not one I've gone back to a lot. I want to, because Dirk said, once you go back and really fucking, analyze it,
Yeah, absolutely.
It makes complete sense with the Three Mothers trilogy. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, excellent. So yeah, like I said, it's a great film. Check it out. Like I said, Darren basically said it. You know, it could be a 10-10. To me, it's a 8.5, strong 8.5. It can go up. It always goes up. Rewatching, it can go up, and it could be like. And some films are kind of untouchable. You know, I remember mentioning that this film could probably be redone and modernized. You know, they're talking about maybe remakes of films. It'd just be.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to see that.
I can see that, but with the whole author thing being stalked by like a fan or something like that, and then the twists and stuff like that too, I can see.
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, you could do it.
You can see that because there are good newer directors out there. There's good newer Italian directors out there that I've seen, or just good directors that can take on that aesthetic if they kind of know what they're doing. Let's just check out the chat here real quick and we'll get out of here. Didn't have a chance to say hi to Mr. Daniel Garcia. How you doing, my friend?
Hey,
Mr. Buck with Just Goldblum is a good horror film. I've heard of that one.
That's 1986, I think. I've heard good things. Is that like a? Because I've heard that kind of got slasher elements. So let us know if you're still in the chat.
This one is part of a double set from Scream Factory. Brad Dourif vampire film Desire is very good. I think that is like a double feature from Scream Factory. Had like another vampire type film in there.
Okay, I've never heard that.
But I like the double features from Scream Factory. I wish they'd bring those back. Because they're obscure type of films and stuff like that too, but they're still pretty cool. You know, like they did a double feature of the other Scanners films. You know, Scanners 2 and Scanners 3. So, Cal, what's going on? Cal, one of the coolest horror brothers here on YouTube, one of the horror horsemen as well. Great to see you, my friend. Thank you for the shout out. I really appreciate that. Thanks for coming on the stream and stuff like that. Looking at the stuff at the Scream Factory sale and stuff like that. Those all just popping in.
Oh yeah, it may be 90s. Yeah, I'll have to look that up, Mr. Frost. It may be 90s.
But
I thought it was.
Yeah, this is what I picked up from the Tales from the Dark Side and the Dead Zone and.
Yeah, you are right.
Can't beat it for $20 for 4Ks. Can't beat it. $20 for 4Ks.
Jason is right. It's 1990.
Yeah, early kind of 90s. 90s was an interesting time for horror. And
so you still doing the stream with Keith later, Chris?
Yeah. I DM'd him and still doing the stream at 9. So expect that. Expect me back here in another hour or so. Doing Friday the 13th part 3 in 3D. Watching discussion with that. Keith's a huge fan of that franchise, as am I. That'll be the last of that trilogy and stuff like that too. He really likes that one. And that film was filmed in an interesting location. A lot of stuff was built from the ground up. That's old school studio style. Like Hitchcock studios used to do. A lot of stuff was built from the ground up. Different locations. That's an interesting Crystal Lake. That's all I'm going to kind of see about that. It's a very, very kind
of I need to go back and watch all the Friday the 13th again. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I've got that
Hopefully it's the main
Factory box set as well.
Yeah. That's the box set.
But can I mention a few things coming up?
Go ahead, Darren.
So obviously on Chris's channel here now on Thursday, we're going to be doing Four Flies on Grey Velvet and The Perfume of the Lady in Black, two Mimsy Farmer films. So keep an eye out for that. On Subjective Perspective Collective on Saturday, we're going to be doing Argento again. We're going to be doing Giallo the film, Black Glasses, and Do You Like Hitchcock? Man, I got so much stuff coming up. Sunday, we're going to be doing The Devil's Honey on Eurocult.
Continuing
and then
with
the Dead End Driving.
Yeah,
we got the Dead End Driving the following week, which I'll probably mention.
Okay, cool. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, what are you guys doing on there?
So we're doing Creature from Black Lake, Night of the Demon, kind of Bigfoot film.
Oh, yeah, Bigfoot films. That's right. I love Night of the Demon.
I think we're doing Don't Look in the Basement is another one. And Don't Answer the Phone. So
Don't Answer the Phone. So the don't films. Yeah, I have Don't Answer the Phone.
But they are recorded, so they're going to come at. Yeah. Oh, Don't Answer the Phone is a great one.
Keith likes Don't Go Into the Basement. Keith likes that film.
I've only seen it once or whatever, but I didn't like it. But I'll give it a fresh watch and give it another day in court.
And then sometime next week, slasher stream. We kind of changed the format a little bit, so we're going to be doing two slasher films. So we're going to be...
Yeah, if you could do that later in the week, it'd be better for me.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like later,
so
later next week, like I said,
Thursday off.
Yeah, give you a time for that. Yeah, that's what I mean, for sometime
See if you can get
week.
Thursday off, and that'll be good.
Yeah, sure. Find out. But we'll be doing, eventually when we kind of do it, we're kind of changing to 2 slasher format. That works a lot better, so we can dive in more, talk about it more, I know you all like that, and I love doing that shit. Yeah.
But we'll still do the 4 a month, but we just do 2 different streams.
Yeah, 2 different ones, so it works out better too, and gives us time to kind of watch them because we're all busy.
Yeah, we can go
busy horror people here. Yeah, we'll be doing this video, Nasty Madhouse, which was released by Arrow. Be doing that one, and then we'll be covering Death Screams. So, which you could probably still get from the slip. So there you go.
Yeah, probably more than likely. Yeah.
Like I said, that stream tonight with Keith, and then I'm back next month, where I'm going to show what's in the bag, ladies and gentlemen. The Slasher Champ is here. He is coming, and I'm tired of being nice. That's all I'm going to say about that. And a new lives I'm going to be doing. I want to focus more on lives and stuff and do my research and stuff like that. For my love of giallo, so I'm going to be doing these episodic lives called All the Colors of the Slasher Dude, where I'm going to be going through giallos. It's one of my favorite subgenres. I have a big love for it. Darren's part of that journey. Dirk is part of that journey. I'd like to thank them a lot for getting me into this awesome genre of films. The first lives are going to be 2 parts. My top 10 giallos of all time. Part 1's going to be the first 5, and part 2 is going to be the last 5. So expect that in the near future. And something geeky in the collection that's, of course, coming back next month and stuff like that. Caveman should be back and going. And then my boy Jeffrey John Doe Juggalo should be part of that awesome geeky panel. We'll be reviewing the films that we all watched and the series that we all watched. And then you all get to pick which freaky anime or sci-fi or anything geeky film we get to watch we've never seen before. So expect that. That's always a fun time with those guys. So, yeah, just expect that in the future. So.
Yeah, man. Like you say, it's just all done for fun, isn't it? Just enjoy.
Yeah, that's right. Great hobby and great people here. And thank you all for the love, the support. This is a great community. Keep physical media alive, everybody. It's still going strong and stuff like that too. And this is a great stream, Darren. It's always cool talking about these awesome films. And check Darren out with Dirk on Subjective Perspective Collective, Hour to Kill. They'll be doing those Dario films. Expect us on the Slasher stream later on in this.
You can expect, because we're all kind of like this little group, and we all kind of help each other out and do different streams for each other.
Yeah.
So I include Dead Pit in that, because Chris has been on Dana's as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Great people. The Rad King, Born to Be Rad, of course. The Dead Pit Boss over at deadpit.com. Dana, Steve, Dirk, Darren, everybody. Jason in the chat, awesome. Of course, Cal in the chat. All these great people in the chat. Sorry if I missed anybody. Anyway, I'm Christy, the Slasher Dude. I'll see you all in maybe possibly another hour. That's Darren, Mr. Burroughs of Subjective Perspective Collective. And I will see you all next time. You all have a great evening. And keep physical media alive. And horror for life. I will see you all next time. Take care, everybody.
Absolutely.
An ancient terror sleeps in the Vargas house. Can anyone survive its awakening? The evil.
We're not going to get out!
They can scream. They can run. But they can't escape. Richard Crenna, Joanna Pettit, Victor Buono. The evil. Rated R.
On this island, in this building, through this door, lies the most frightening experience of your life. Prepare yourself for They Came From Within. They Came From Within.